What's going on, everybody? It's Lanier here, aka the mayor of Homeland Park. Real quick about what this video is all about. A few months ago, me and my friend David Fields, aka Cool Dave, sat down and did an interview where he interviews someone and he calls it Everyday Superstars. Well, during the video, we didn't know that the main camera had failed about halfway through. The backup camera was on the table, and every time we touched the table, it shook. And one of the audio had some issues with a little bit of static every now and again. We were really disappointed in that, but we watched it, and it was really good dialogue, really good interview, questions and answers back and forth, that we could not release it. So we finally got one of them recovered from the backup camera, the video of it, and we're gonna, what should have been 15 minutes ended up being 40 something minutes of talking between the both of us, and it touched on a lot of issues. So we're gonna break that up into smaller segments, between 8 to 12 minutes a piece, until it's all completely released. So this is part one of Everyday Superstars with Cool Dave interviewing myself, Walt Lanier, the mayor of Homeland Park. I hope you guys enjoy.
Yo, it's your boy Cool Dave, man. Welcome back to Everyday Superstars, man, where we interview the real superstars, man, in our community, man. That's people who are making a difference. Today, I got my main man, my boy, aka the mayor, Walter Lanier. Say what's up to the people, man.
What's going on, everybody?
Man, so I just want to chop it up with you, man, about the community, man. First of all, where are you from, and where do you represent?
I was born and raised in Homeland Park. I've been here 42 years, and Homeland Park is life for me. Lower Anderson. This is our sign, Lower Anderson. It's not a gang sign. It's just represent.
I love it, man. And one thing I know, since I've known you, you've always been about the community. And one reason why I'm very privileged to do this and honored to do this interview is because I know that it's real.
Yeah.
And I know that you go hard for the community, and that's something I've seen with my own eyes, heard with my own ears, and I respect that to the fullest, man. So how long have you been involved in community leadership?
About 8 years now.
About 8 years? Wow. So give me, if you could describe that in one word, put you on the spot. If you could describe your experience as a community leader in one word, what would it
be? Man, one word to describe it. Blessing.
A blessing. Wow. Yeah.
No matter how hard the struggles have been, it's just been a blessing because I feel like it's God's calling on my life.
Man, I can see that. I can definitely see that, man. So, do you have a nonprofit, and what nonprofit is that?
Homeland Park Community Watch Organization.
Park Community Watch Organization. Now, how many members do you have now?
On social media, we use a private Facebook group. We have around, say, 500-600.
Wow.
It's a very difficult way. It's difficult to get the word out about your nonprofit when you're not heavily funded.
Right.
So you can't send out, flyers because that costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
We do a lot of things like community cleanups. We hold monthly meetings. We have a website. We have social media. But social media doesn't always, you can't get the algorithm right. You really ain't.
Yeah.
People won't see it. We did the recent Fall Festival in Homeland Park, which was the first one.
Yeah.
We're looking to do more like that. We've been in the news many times fighting for this community, whether it was, tearing down dilapidated homes, fighting development at county councils, meetings, redoing Old Wellington Historical Park, the old Vita tire plant that we shut down. I mean, we go hard in the paint for the community.
Man, that's awesome. So, what has been your motivation, your biggest motivation to fight for your community?
I would say before I started getting involved in Community Watch, I noticed that I had a lot of elderly neighbors when I was living on Key Street, and they were widows, and I was always the guy to call.
Right.
And I just saw a need there, that there were people that were afraid. And I remember being the guy in the community that you didn't want here. I remember being the bad guy.
Yeah.
And I felt like, since I wasn't afraid of what I was standing up against, the evil that was going on in my community, and that I played a part at one time, bringing it into my community, that, I feel like I should work the rest of my life to get it out of here.
Man, that's dope.
And
deep.
you know, like one of my neighbors in specific, you know, she had when I went to her funeral when she passed away, I was over there, I was upset, you know, I'd known this woman my whole life, and one of her church members asked who I was, and she was like, "So you're Walt?" And she had bragged to all her neighbors for years, saying they would tell her, you know, you need to get a weapon living by yourself. And she said, "Honey, I don't need no weapon. You ain't met my neighbor."
Yeah.
And all my neighbors know that, like, you called me. We didn't have police force. I mean, we didn't have a whole lot of police presence back then before McBride came into office.
Right.
And I noticed that there wasn't stuff for the children to do like there was when I grew up. There was bowling alley. There was we had a skating right up the road. We had a movie theater.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a park here until recently. And those are the things I fought for, because like I want these children to have a chance. I don't want them to go down the path I did. I want the elderly to be able to go to sleep at night feeling safe.
That's important.
Yeah, and that was my big motivation, was to go this route.
Yeah, yeah, man. And it takes a village, man. It takes a village to really, you know, raise children and really make things work. So you having a community watch for Homeland Park, man, is huge. It's huge. And for it to have 500 to 600 members with limited marketing, man, like I respect that, man. So keep doing what you're doing. So if somebody wanted to start a program for their community, what pitfalls or what road stops or roadblocks would they run into?
So the starting off, it's you've got to find the people who are dedicated,
right? The
people who want to make a change.
Right.
You'll find there'll be things to set you back. There's always those stumbling blocks of people who are negative, that you'll never get it done.
Yeah.
And it's not whether you can get it done, it's that you at least fight.
Right.
You've got to at least fight.
Right.
If we sit around and do nothing, I mean, there was a phrase that I can't remember about, you know, for evil in the world, says like good men just do nothing.
Yeah.
And it takes over.
Yep.
We've accomplished things, and I'm sorry, what was the last part of that question?
I would say, what are some of the pitfalls or some of the roadblocks that you run into?
The biggest roadblocks for me has been, I despise people who are out here to make a name for themselves, but you're not doing anything. I see so many people trying to make a name for themselves, whether it be entertainment purposes,
right,
politically
right,
motivated, or just to be seen.
Yeah.
You know, and that's not how to get things done. And we don't reinvent the wheel here in Homeland Park. You know, we battled different organizations when we first started off because they weren't doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And they weren't representing all of Homeland Park. And we became the top, like, you know, I try to tell people, this isn't my nonprofit.
Yeah.
I started it.
Yeah.
It's an organization I can be removed from. I can be voted out of.
Yeah.
It's designed to outlast me.
Right.
It belongs to the people.
Right. Because you're saying it's not about you. It's about the community.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot more communities would be strong. So how long have you been how long has Homeland Park Community Watch been existing?
I think we've been an actual nonprofit for 5 or 6 years.
5 or 6 years, which speaks volumes, because a lot of community organizations don't last because people make it about them. Like they have an agenda, you know, they want to make a name for themselves or sell some sort of product or make money off of it. And their goal is not to build a community. And so a lot of times, man, they just start their community, get whatever it is that they wanted, whether it's the money or the name, and then go on and do something else. And the community is still stuck in the same place with empty and broken promises. And I feel like that's huge, man. And so I appreciate you speaking on that.
And speaking on that again, you'll find people, another pitfall is you'll find people who come in and they seem hard. And it's just, you're going to need a spirit of discernment.
Right.
And, you know, God will show you, or sometimes, man, it just tells on themselves. There's people that they'll come in and you think, man, it's great to have this guy on my team. He's going to be the guy to help, you know, with this part of the situation, or because your strengths is different than my strengths.
Right.
So a good leader can delegate that. I'm not perfect. I don't have all the answers, but being a good leader, I can delegate to my different board members, and together as a unit, the whole group is strong. And I believe that's the reason why we've outlasted other organizations, especially when things got hard. Like COVID almost put us out because we didn't have meetings for like 2 years in person.
Right.
And we started off with just as a little Facebook group, having a little meeting in in a little building.
I remember.
You know, and then it's just like, hey, we're not going to be Homeland Park Crime Watch anymore. We'll get involved in everything.
Everything.
If it involves Homeland Park, you're going to speak with us.
Yep.
We're going to be the voice of the people.
Yep.
And that's where it ran from there.
Man, that's what's up, man. So what are some of the resources? Like if somebody needed to know where to start or where to go or who to ask, what are some of the resources you suggest for them to accomplish their goals?
Speak with organizations that you trust. I've had people like kind of walk them through the process of organization, starting a nonprofit, but the resources that you need is to hold your elected officials accountable.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with praising a county councilman or a representative or anyone who's elected over you when they're doing. People say, well, they're just doing their job. Well, that's fine, but you want a reward when you do your job,
right?
You know what I mean? You
right.
want a bonus at the end of the year. You want something. Let them know they're doing a good job. It's not bootlicking.
Yeah.
You know, let them know that if they're in there fighting for it, because not everyone automatically says, you know, all politicians are bad. But what about when the man in your community who's fighting for you becomes a councilman or becomes maybe your president? Is he automatically bad just the moment he takes the oath?
Yeah, exactly.
I'm like, everybody can't be bad. So hold them accountable. I don't believe in allowing a county councilman or a representative to control your group.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of community groups that are controlled by the councilmen.
Yep.
And stuff like that. And it's not just Anderson County, it's everywhere. Mm-hmm. The people need to do it, and then you hold them accountable. But you don't fuss and cuss at them and all that. There's a time for that.
Right.
There's a time for, you know, to be a little bit uncivil.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if they're not hearing you, then you bring your numbers and you start showing up. You show up to start going to county council meetings.
With you saying that, like my challenge to the people, to everybody out there, is that get to know who your county councilmen are, get to know the topics of discussion, get to know how the system works. One thing I can speak on with being in the community, and I'm from Maryland and all that, but you know I'm very connected to Homeland Park and the people of the community, and I feel like the biggest challenge I want to challenge people is to understand how it works, understand what's going on. And it's one thing to have issues with what's going on, but a lot of people speak on what they don't know and what they don't understand.
Yeah.
And I feel like going off of emotions, but lack of knowledge is also an issue. And so I feel like there needs to be more people a part of the group, and there needs to be more groups that where they have that opportunity. You know, and I think it's awesome that you give people that opportunity to be a part of the community, speak for the community, let people know, you know, you can be a voice for a lot of people who may miss the meetings or may not be involved in all of that, but being a part of the community watch, being able to voice what's going on and be a part of what's going on, your voice is heard. So be a part of the community. But I could talk about that all day, but I want to talk about crime.
Quickly on that, just recently, you know, we were fighting a development, and we've lost.
Yeah,
we've lost hands down twice. Didn't matter how much. I mean, our First Amendment rights to petition our government thrown to the side, discarded. For people that couldn't be there, and it was both meetings I didn't get to attend, but Homeland Park showed up, and we still got denied this very last one. Only 7 speakers showed up, and I thought me and Ms. Jameson was the only people going to be there. So we only had 7 speakers, and this place was packed with people not wanting developments in their area.
Right.
And we defeated it that night. And the only reason I'm bringing that up is specifically to tell people this: don't let what you feel are your shortcomings stop you from being the leader you are. Because I have most people would never have a clue that I suffer from anxiety. I cannot stand to speak in public. But I do it every month. Like my community meetings, that's not such a big thing.
Right.
But to sit there in that anticipation that I got to get up and speak for, you know, I had to do it, but I had to speak for my people.
Yeah.
Like if I don't get up there and do it, like who's going to say it the way that I'm trying to say it? Like you broke the spirit of my people.
Right.
They didn't show up tonight because they've been denied so many times. We thought we had a voice.
Yeah.
And people were telling me like, man, I've got your back, man. I'll do anything for you, but I'm not going to that meeting.
Yeah.
Because they shot us down. It's useless. And I went in with a mission because I felt like, you know, like y'all really did. I felt like y'all disrespected my people because, like, you know, the one thing about Homeland Park is so diverse.
Yeah.
It's so diverse. It's the most diverse community
It is.
in Anderson.
It is.
And I don't care what their income level is, what their religion is, their race, any of that.
Right.
Like, if you live here, you're my people.
You're my people.
That's
Word.
it. And
Word.
I go to fight for. Now, everybody might not like what I stood for when I went over there. Maybe they want that type of stuff.
Yeah.
But the majority didn't.
Right.
And that's what I had to speak for.
Right. Right, man. And keep speaking, man. And yo, I'm challenging you guys, man. Get involved. Get involved. Get involved. Get involved. Support. Do something, man. Show up. Because when you show up, like a lot of people talk, man, but action is what changes. You know, as long as people are talking, but people know that you're not going to do anything, it doesn't matter. You know, and so take action.